You know, there's a lot of great OU podcasts, but there's only one where the horns are always down. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Horns Down Podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Horns Down Podcast. It's been a minute. It's definitely been a minute since me and Jay linked up, but I said, you know what? I got to get one of the OGs of the show, well, not a guest, but one of the family members, one of the guys that holds me down all the time, man. Jay, Unfair Sports. Jay, you know, I want to say, Jay, you blew up, and you keep blowing up, and you keep going. I don't know, man. But Jay, what's up, man? How you doing?
What's good, man? Nah, yeah, I know to find me on Fair Sports, family member over here. You know, Chris is the same at the crib. We're gonna get him off work one of these days. He's gonna pull up, so we can start talking. We'll probably get to get him on Sunday. You know, we can make some stuff happen, probably Sunday evening or whatnot. But yeah, man, it's
going down.
Yeah, channel's been making some movement, man. I need some more growth. We trying to get better. All we trying to do is get better every week, baby. That's about it.
So with that being said, like, subscribe, follow, do all that stuff. Where can they find you at on Twitter, bro?
Yeah, just follow me at Unfair Sports. That's the best spot to find me. I'm usually talking noise to a couple people here or there, a couple Sooner fans, a couple Texas fans, as well as I'm gonna start posting some Sooner stats here, starting here in like May this summer to keep us busy.
Jay, I may need your help because I've been thinking, been doing a lot of just spending time on this situation. I think I might have my next Texas piece. Just letting you know, I may need your help. Y'all know I like to drop a pipe bomb here and there on Texas fans to start the season and get them talking. So stay tuned. But with that being said, we got a spring game this weekend, and I'm still not sure when this spring game is going to be played simply because of this weather. I don't care. I think I'm going to be out there. Jay, you got to find me. Why? I'm going to be with my uncle. I've been advertising that everywhere that I possibly can. My uncle is actually going to show up to a game. He never comes to a game. But he said, you know what, nephew, you get me the ticket, I'll drive from Tulsa. I don't care. So he's coming up. So we've been talking and been gearing up for this or whatnot. And so, like I said, let's just go ahead and get straight to it. So the spring game, let's go ahead and start offensively. What are you looking for from this offense? Obviously, I know there's a special unit that everybody is talking about right now, but Jay, let's get your opinion about this OU offense of 2024.
I'm gonna be honest. The one that intrigues me the most is wide receiver right now.
Really?
Tight end's gonna be crazy because it looks like Bauer Sharp is starting to separate himself from everybody, and Von Mitchell is still young, and we're healthy at tight end. So tight end's going to be one that's going to be a lot of competition. We just got to wait and see what that looks like. Mm-hmm. But at wide receiver, Farouk is out with a fractured foot. He'll be back in the fall. But then you've got Deion Burks, who's the new guy, and supposedly he's already walked in and commanded respect. Like, he's walked in and basically just said, this is my position. I would like you to try and take it from me, right? He walked in and started snatching chains. That impressed me. Mm-hmm. So you put him in there. Jaden Gibson's also done the same. He's out here trying to say, nah, you need to go ahead and put me out there as one of them other receivers. I'm going to do it. Still waiting on the health of Andrew Anthony, so I'm going to leave him out of this. Nick Six is back healthy. He's supposed to be doing some stuff. And then J.J. Hester, we've got like a appearance by him out of nowhere. He's out here getting one-handed grabs in practice. Like, so to me, wide receiver super intriguing because we've got so many dudes that can play. And so when we go out there in 11 personnel, 3 wide receivers, or we go in out there in 10, or we go out there and with 4 wide, 5 wide, I'm ready to see exactly how creative we can get with all these dudes. And if anything, I want to see who separates from these defenders because we've got one of the more veteran secondaries in the SEC.
Yeah,
I'm ready to see what it looks like. Who's gonna be able to separate and get open for catches? That's got my attention.
You forgot about one guy that we haven't heard any bad reports about. I haven't heard a lot, but I think that's kind of good. Brennan Thompson. You haven't really heard anything bad or necessarily good. It's just, I mean, I think he is what he is. Okay.
Yeah.
I think he could potentially be your Anthony Schwartz. And you know what's great about that? Anthony Schwartz, if you guys don't remember, the guy with like world-class speed that played at Auburn, played in the league for Cleveland for a number of years. He is what he is. And the good thing about it, you don't have to use him like they tried to use Schwartz, because Malzahn forced Schwartz down everybody's throats with all those jet sweeps and all the rest of that stuff. Deservedly so. I mean, the kid is fast. But thing is, you can use him in a lot of different ways. And the thing is that, his hands are pretty damn good because he seems to catch a lot of touchdowns, especially when he's going deep. But no, I'm interested in the wide receiver room as well to see who can get that separation and see who can get there. But man, that's a room that I think is going to really hit its stride in the summer, especially when you get Raggins and some of those other kids on campus as well. You've heard good things about Kearney too. Kearney's already coming here. He has a college ready body and he's ready to go out there and make some noise. But you've also heard really good things.
One with the college body though is Ivan Carrion.
Yeah, well, yeah, that and that's another guy that you've heard some good things about.
Great things about him. Heard he has truly separated himself from the freshman class. And the anticipation is he's going to get some snaps next season. And so that's kind of like my point. See how deep that is? Like, I only talked about the dudes that are upperclassmen and have been in this playbook and is supposed to play, except for Burks. I didn't even get to the young bucks. We got two of them, like you said, showing out with Kearney as well as Carrion. We still got two more that's got to enroll this summer. Like, I haven't talked about Petaway yet. I didn't talk about Brendan Thompson, mainly because I don't know his health status, right? Yeah. No shade to him, but his biggest problem is he ain't been healthy. He's been up and down. He was like that at Texas. So when he's healthy, he's great. He's your burner. He's the dude that you just he out there somewhere. Like, he could be your Marquise Brown. Yeah. He can be a Hollywood if he's healthy. And being faster than Hollywood, that will separate him from a lot. But the thing is, still got to be healthy. Best ability is availability. Until I can see that he can be consistent on that, I enjoy him as a great supplement to everything else we're doing.
Mm-hmm. No. And one of the things that I think will really be interesting, this is something that my aunt and we begged Levy to do last year. And I want to. No, that too. But I think it's something that I can speak for a lot of, especially our following, a lot of our followers and stuff like that. But you too, Jay. I think I can say this. So let me go ahead and say it. What I am trying to get out of my mouth is that on goal line situations, if we're going to be in pass situations or on passing plays, why are we not lining up with our 6'4" Nick Anderson? A 6'4" Nick Anderson on one side, 6'5" Jaden Gibson on the other side. Go with a 6'3" or 6'4" or so Bauer Sharp. And then you're going with a, Deion Burks on the inside, Jalil Farouk on the inside. But you're going with guys that, on the inside, are going to be dynamic, but on the outside, you're tall. So you have Ivy and Carrion as well. You know what I'm saying? So you're putting Hyde out there and you're able to throw those jump balls, different things like that on those 5'11", 6-foot wide receivers, because those guys are long, lengthy, and they go and win those 50-50 battles. So that's something we're going to be doing.
Imagine this lineup, though. You got 6'4" Nick Six on the outside. You got 6'5" Jaden Gibson next to him. You put in 6'4" JJ Hester, and then you put in 6'6" Ivan Carrion right there. That's a 4-wide setup, and you put 6'4" Bauer Sharp out there at the tight end position. Yeah. Pull him out, make it go straight 5 wide. Who's guarding that?
That's going to be tough.
Who's guarding that?
Yeah. That's going to be tough. And some of those guys can run too, especially with Gibson as well. Yeah. But the variety, and this is something that I say maybe you kind of, and I'm not trying to backpedal people, so please don't get in the comments saying I'm trying to backpedal, but damn, you kind of feel bad for Levy because this was what he was building towards, to have this type of variety. But I think with Latrell, what I'm most excited about is that we are going to see a bunch of guys. You're not just going to see those main guys on the field for, if we're playing 120 snaps and 80 snaps of those, you're going to see those guys. You get what I'm saying? It's going to be who has the hot hand, and you got guys. When you have that actual competitive depth that we've been talking about for so damn long, it's a beautiful thing. So no, that room is going to be really good. I'm excited to see Petaway in his second year. I'm excited to see, and I think we're going to see a lot more of those guys than we will with with Nick Anderson. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw less of Nick Anderson. We're obviously not going to see Farouk. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw some of those younger guys get a chance to kind of explode on the scene per se. So no, I'm excited about that room. If we're moving on and just being quite frank with you, obviously we got to talk about the offensive line. What are we going to see? And right now I think the talk is, or the looks right now would be, or all eyes are on the portal, for offensive linemen. But when it comes to what we're going to see on Saturday, are we going to see a finished product to where we're walking away feeling great, or do you think we're going to feel kind of like, it's good, but there's a lot of work that needs to happen?
To be honest, I think what we're going to see at the spring game is about as vanilla as you're going to expect, right?
Yeah.
The biggest thing is, the good thing for us is, one, Seth Luttrell being the new OC, so it kind of makes things a little weird for other teams. They're probably going to run majority of the stuff they ran against it in the Alamo Bowl. That way, it's still, maybe some base sets. Don't want to go out there and show too much of your hand because, yes, your competition is watching your spring games. They're not stupid. They're going to watch the television broadcast. They're going to pay attention to what the heck's going on out there.
Unless you're Ole Miss, but okay, go ahead.
Touche. But I do sense that we'll see very small wrinkles of what we can expect this coming season. We'll probably see a lot more of the run game come into play and usage of the tight end. That's just more so to get the fans excited. Hopefully they started off with a jet sweep. That will put a smile on my face.
Yeah.
It's going to piss a lot of people off, which would be perfect for me. It'll warm my heart.
Or a trick play like they've started off with the last two years, right? I think that so the last spring game that I left feeling like, man, I'm not really sure about the offensive line, and this is going way back, but probably was when Jalen was a quarterback here. That was probably the last time I felt like, the offensive line is okay.
Like, meh.
Yeah, I think we got guys. I still stand by what I said in the past. I think we have some dudes, and I think we have some guys. We're gonna have a mix of guys that are truly talented, some guys that stand out. I think Sexton, once he's fully healthy, I think he's going to be the next left tackle in line to get drafted very high. But I will say this right here. I think our interior is going to be our strong point. I think that the kid from North Texas, and I think that there's a handful of guys that can fill in that left side as far as the left guard. Wait a minute. Yeah. I think, left guard. Because it's your right. He's going to play right guard, right? The kid from North Texas.
Oh, yeah. Fabici. Yeah. Waywo's definitely your right.
I think on the inside, I mean, there's a handful of guys that you can play at that spot. So I'll definitely be looking for that, and that'll be a key interest for me. My uncle, he made a comment that I thought was really, really important as far as what he said about maybe the Brown kid, the kid from Michigan State. Yeah, maybe he wasn't all that they thought he was. Once he got to campus, because my biggest thing was I was a little bit shocked that, there was a lot of talk surrounding the transfer portal and looking for more offensive linemen.
Yeah. And to me, I don't think the offensive line is weak. I think our biggest problem is our offensive line ain't healthy, right? The biggest stuff is you got to have healthy. The best ability is availability. And right now we're, losing Troy Everett. We need another offensive lineman. I'd say experience-wise at tackle, you're dealing with Michael Tarkin. You have Jake Sexton. You got Jacob Sexton, Jake Taylor, in which there's been mixed reviews on him. I still think he ends up taking the spot on the right, but we'll see. Spencer Brown, has been mixed reviews with him, but you bring him in more so for depth. Logan Holland still needs to learn the position. This is only his second season actually playing tackle. He's a converted tight end. So he's got work to do. They may have to slide him inside. But the good thing is you're going to bring in all these freshmen who are still, learning the college game. You get them to the right strength and the proper body fat type, body type for the collegiate level past, high school. you know, your Eugene Brooks of the world, your Josh Isosas, your Isaiah Autry, Dent, you get them going, there's a good chance that this line could be special. But at the same time, we're very young on the offensive line. I think it's the one thing I've emphasized, you know, try to emphasize on my videos is Beanbo's got a lot of kids. I mean, you had 4 dudes go pro. We unfortunately had one that transferred out to go back home, and you had 2 more that transferred because they were never going to play here. We've got to educate young guys. But the good thing is that 2024 class turned out to be a hell of a lot better than we expected, and we're going to be really active in the 25 class. It's probably take more offensive linemen than anything else, and so because of that, since we'll be a little bit more ready going into the 25 season in 24, but right now the biggest thing is young players. We just got to figure that out. I think they'll work it out.
So by the time that the season starts, first game against Temple, you expect that offensive line to dominate?
I expect it to be better. I don't know about dominate, but I think it'll be up to Bill Beatonbow par. Put it that way.
Okay. And that's good. And I mean, you know, I think we've talked about it, and you've heard me say this a couple of times. You know, I really want to transition out of that whole let's wait until the 5th game of the season, being Texas, to actually, you know, have that 5 out there that we believe is the 5. I would like to, you know, hit Temple in the mouth, hit Houston in the mouth, Tulane in the mouth, and then get busy with Tennessee. Kind of set the tone for the season and set the tone for the nation and let them know, hey, it's up. We up. Like it's we want all the smoke. So no, I mean, I think the offensive line is going to be interesting. And running back room, I think that is, you know, the thing I'm most interested in seeing is Javonte Barnes, does he have his vision back? I think that was the biggest thing that was hurting him last year. But like I've said, man, the more that you look at that Latrell offense, the running game is more fluid, in my opinion, than it is in the in that Levy system. I think that he runs north-south. It's not any, you know, we got to do this or do that. Everybody has those concepts of trying to get to that second level and take out that linebacker or that safety that's creeping up. So, I mean, I understand that because, you know, with Levy was so focused on trying to win that one-on-one battle, and that worked for Eric Gray. But our backs that we have now, I'm not sure if that's really kind of their game. It's kind of, hey, create holes, let them get out there because they can run through tackles. They can run it between the tackles. But I think our guys are like, hey, let me get some space and let me show you what I can do, you know? So I'll definitely be looking at Caleb Hicks to see, is he the one that can actually hold down the fort or be that guy until Tatum gets here, right? Because and I think I said that I think I was on Sooner Legends podcast when I said this, but I think that's one of the things that's going to tell me more about the offensive line progressing, especially down the line in the summer and head into the fall, is if Taylor Tatum can come in here and really you know, turn some heads or whatnot. Because if he's able to do that, then, I mean, albeit it may just be because he's that guy, or it could be because the offensive line is really starting to gel and you're starting to hear good things. Because if a freshman can come in here, and the running back position is not the hardest to learn, but at the same time, if a freshman is coming here that hasn't been a mid-year and he's doing some really good things, that tends to help me believe in this offensive line a little bit more. Hopefully that's clear to everybody. So
yeah, no, and that's true. I mean, you still got Xavier Robinson back there too. He's actually training right now. He's getting to the right size and weight and where he wants to be. You know, if he's running a 4.5 at his size, hey, I mean, you don't play him. Like who's that dumb?
Yeah. You know, I'll be interested to see Sam Franklin as well. Like, is he a depth piece or is he somebody that can actually threaten to get on the field? I know a guy that you are really excited about, Igmegwa. I think that's how you
Megwa.
Yeah.
So I think the guy that came from Washington, who's actually suing them too, which is kind of an interesting notion. But yeah, that's a good one.
Probably the physical, the doctors and stuff up there.
Because of that knee injury or whatnot. Yeah. Brought him back a little early is what he's kind of saying. And I mean, I get why he's doing it. Makes sense.
Yeah.
I'd totally go after him too if they feels like they may have hindered his opportunity to really play at a high level.
Yeah.
Because supposedly the injury he had was devastating, the second one he had, and so there's a lot of questions there. But if I've heard that he's playing. I heard that he's going through the drills and stuff, and he's getting some run with both teams. Him and Caleb Hicks are two that are really standing out as well. So you got the young boy out of Denton Ryan, and then you got him. Man, it could be something. Let's just put it that way.
And like I said, sometimes the best news is no news because you haven't heard too much about Sawchuk. You've heard about some runs and different things here and there, but one thing you haven't heard, he ain't been injured, and praise God. Because like I said to start this year off, Jay, I said, look, there are certain guys on this team that cannot afford to do mental reps. Cannot.
Nope.
Can't be on the sideline. Cannot. And
Nope.
He's one of them. He cannot afford to be on the sideline with her bum hamstrings, this and that. He cannot afford that because you will get passed up. It's just too much. It's just
too many dudes coming in.
Too many dudes.
And if Tatum comes in, decides to take over as number one, what do you do? How do you tell him no? We need a player to solidify themselves as the number one dude.
Mm-hmm.
We're just now waiting for them to do that.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what you're wanting to see. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and switch the tune. You got anything else to say about offense?
No, I think we're solid. That's a good start.
Let's go ahead and switch the tune. Let's go over here to the defense, man. First off, I'll tell you exactly who I'm interested in seeing. I know everybody's going to talk D-line. Some people may talk to safeties. I'm going to say linebackers. Why? Because I want to see Sammy O. I want to see Lewis Carter. I want to see those guys. I want to see how do they react. How are they going to attack this opportunity? Because I feel like I know what I'm going to get from Stutzman. I don't feel like it. I know what I'm going to get from Stutzman. Mm-hmm. And he's a guy that, to be honest with you, I wouldn't mind if he's out there for however long he's out there, and then we let these younger guys kind of just take over. Kip Lewis, going to be interested in seeing McCullough. Definitely, since he's kind of playing over there, and I think that's going to be great for him, being closer to the ball, not having to play a cheater role. And then also, I think what's going to be a light of fire under him is the fact that Zach Allen is there, because if you go and watch the highlights of his defense at Jackson State, those linebackers are all over the field, and they can do just about everything on the field, man. And they make some dynamic plays. The outside linebacker, whoever is playing the outside linebacker, sometimes, you could be kind of put in that cheated category. Yeah. But, man, if that outside linebacker knows what he's doing, he's getting busy. He's not waiting. Yeah. He's not waiting on nobody. He's getting busy out there on the field. Somebody's either getting blown up or that play is just going to be all effed up because that outside linebacker is special. It's really interesting. You guys got to go watch those highlights. But like I said, so I want to see Sammy O, want to see Lewis Carter. And, obviously I want to see the maturation process of Kobe McKenzie. And I want to see Kennick. I want to see has Kennick improved? Is he better on his mechanics? Different things like this. If you guys remember my show that I had with Damian Mackey and Barry from the Barry and Mack show, you remember, we talked about footwork, different things like that. It's just, he's still really learning that position. But third year, could this be different? What's your thoughts, Jay?
The linebacker one's going to be interesting. And I got a video actually coming tomorrow talking about them or whatnot, and kind of a preview on that is I had big concerns coming into this portal window with them. Still do. We're still in the window. It opened up yesterday, so we've got until the end of the month. Last day of April is how long the portal will be open, especially for underclassmen. And my concern is that we're pretty deep there, right? Yeah. There's a lot of people that are playing. You go from the top, from your Danny Stutzman, all the way down to your freshman of James Nesta, who we ain't going to see next season. But, you know, as you look in between there's a lot of dudes that could be fighting for the opportunity to play. The Phil Pachottis of the world, your Kobe McKenzie's out there, right? Lewis
Gosh, you forget
Carter.
about Chadi. Wow.
You
Sorry.
got Samuel Masigo, who's playing a combination of linebacker and Cheetah. Deshaun McCullough's been playing will linebacker over the last, you know, few practices or whatnot. So they're moving everybody around. Zach Alley's really testing out and really bending the linebacker corp and the defense to kind of see what truly works and what he wants to do, which is what BV wants to do. It's fascinating to see that we have so many good players. The question is going to be who's not trying to wait their opportunity to play, right? We saw a video, I think it was an article written recently by Parker Thune over there at OU Insider. He was talking about Brendan Zurbrugg. Go check out the article. It's pretty solid. But for the most part, a cliff notes on it is, you know, Zurbrugg understands that he's got to wait his time. He's got to wait for the opportunity. And that's why he came to Oklahoma. He didn't come in and try and start immediately. He came to learn, grow, and fight competitively for a spot to get on the field. Can't beat that. Not all these dudes built that way, though. And that's just keeping it a buck. Hence why our recruiting here is so much different than the competition.
Whew.
It's nice to have bodies, but not if you're getting bodies that are willing to bounce after a year realizing they ain't going to play, right? I mean, I get it. Some guys get homesick. Dalen Smothers, I felt bad for him. He left before the season started last year because supposedly he had some homesickness there. Got him to come back. He finished up the season and bounced. Now he's at NC State, up the street around the corner from where he's from. Totally get that. That happens. We're also getting a lot of dudes out of state. So in that case, we just have to, as long as we're maintaining getting dudes that want to compete and know that, okay, you may not be playing now, but you could play next week. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And so I think that linebacker room is going to be that competitive. It sounds like it's that competitive.
Yeah.
And they all seem to be pretty happy with where they're at, even if they're not starting. But seeing Danny Stutzman next to Kip Lewis to start the season and a little Deshaun McCullough mixed in,
Yeah.
flames.
Yeah. And I think that, I think all of them are going to get opportunities to be on the field at some point. And I think that it's kind of up to Kanak because wouldn't you see, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but Lewis Carter comes into the game. I think that if it's not Kobe McKenzie, it would be him, right? As the understudy to Danny, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it could be. I mean, Danny's going to be your Mike. They may, I mean, Kanak is kind of playing that as well. And honestly, Kip was really good at that also. So you may see Kip rotate in with Stutz as your Mike, and your will be like a combination of Kanak and McCullough.
Yeah.
That could be your mix. You can see Kobe mix into there a little bit too. Lewis Carter's probably going to get some run out there too at the will position. He likes to hit. So, or if you run a 4-3 defense, you go with the three linebackers, you probably would see like a McCullough with either a Stutzman and Kip or a Stutzman and Carter.
Mm-hmm.
Could be your mix.
And that's something.
So many options.
That's something that people do need to take seriously, is that some rumbles, and I don't know, I think it'll be confirmed because, you know, when you talk about Zach Alley, he likes to run those 3 safety looks, right?
Yeah.
But you got to get your players on the field. And I've heard rumbles of 4-3. I've heard rumbles of even fronts this year for sure, kind of like you had last year. So kind of with that being said, obviously, I think we have our guys and our opinions about that, and I think it'll be confirmed on Saturday. But we got to go to the defensive line. I think we already know what we have in our DB room. I'm not worried about that whatsoever.
Yeah, no concerns there.
But D line, you know, here's my beef with what the narrative is about the D line thus far. My beef is the fact that we have a bunch of extremely talented kids that we all wanted coming out of high school, and we all were happy to have. And now we're saying, well, they're too small, they're this, they're that. And I get it, but at the same time, man, it's still April. There's still a lot of time to eat. There's still a lot of time to get there and hit those weights. And you know those players are not going home. They're going home for probably like 10, 15 days, and they right back. Summer school, all the rest of that stuff, getting workouts in, doing all that stuff. You know that program, you know that's not happening extended break. You can't, that's not college football now. That's not the nature of it now. So
that's true.
With that being said, I'm really excited to see Grayson Halton. Really excited to see Ashton Sanders. Definitely excited. Obviously, I'm excited to see Jaden Jackson and David Stone. That goes without being said. I'm happy to see all those guys. But I would say Ashton Sanders, Grayson Halton, because you always heard just great things about them. Even in the 22 season, Grayson Halton did nothing wrong when he was on the field. Not even because he was a freshman. He just never did anything wrong. I'm excited to see Taylor Wine. I'm excited to see, and I'll tell you who's somebody that, I think people are going to sleep on. I think he's going to probably have a really good day. I think Wyatt Gilmore is going to have a really good day out there on the edge. I'm really excited to see. I'm excited to see Nigel Smith as he has advertised. It's been kind of quiet and all the rest of that stuff. You obviously have those narratives that you want to see. But two more guys, and I am going to dip into the secondary just a little bit and say Justin Harrington, obviously, but cannot wait to see Okoye. Cannot wait to see 16 on the field. Cannot wait. I mean, I am excited to see how they use him because, and this is the exciting thing. My friend Ty Hayes, you guys maybe know him, Roundtable Sports, like, subscribe, do all those things. Ty said it best. Me and Ty talked about this to the point where I think we annoyed people. BV wants freaks out there. He wants guys that you can teach them how to be football players, but you can't teach them how to be what they are, which is just natural freaks. I cannot wait because why? You could go with Lewis Carter, you can go with Okoye, you can go with Samuel Seago. You could be the talent that he has, the roster that he has now will allow us to be as multiple as we truly want to be.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what's your thoughts about the D-line?
D-line is interesting because, like you mentioned, you got Champ Sanders, you got G Baby and Grayson Halton that you really want to see if they've risen up, right? Right now, this last year we had like 7 dudes over 300, something you kind of need going into the SEC. Now we only have one, technically, right? We haven't done weigh-ins. We won't do another set of weigh-ins probably until August. And once they do those weigh-ins, then we'll have the official roster going into the season. I anticipate us having about like 5 dudes over 5, right? Over 300 pounds. You'll have definitely have Dejon Terry. He's already 321 right now. He should maintain that range. I think G Baby will be just about 300. Yeah. I think that Jackson will be like 301. I think Stone will be like 295 at that point. I anticipate G Baby, like I mentioned, over 300. I think and then, some of the guys we pick up from the portal, I sense we'll have probably about 4 or 5 dudes over 300 with like 7 or 8 over 290, which I think to me is a lot bigger, is having dudes over 290 rather than getting to that, elusive 300 mark, because if you're around 290, you're close. And I was going to take a few more peanut butter sandwiches and push-ups, you might pull up over that number. I sense that that's going to be a thing. But when you look at the interior, it's going to be Terry. They're saying that Jaden Jackson's playing like he plays in the SEC. Hence, he played at IMG, so he played some pretty good competition, him and Stoney. So we know that that's going to be a big factor for us. And it's funny because when you look at the targets we're going after in the portal, there's a trend. We're not really going for dudes that's going to be here for like 3 years, right? We're looking for dudes, 1-year rentals. We're legitimately looking for 1-year rentals, and we're trying to build that inside, build the interior, our guys up to be what we need them to be. So I sense we'll probably go in a portal every year for a quote unquote fatty to go right there in the middle every year. But outside of that, let's look at them edges, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if PJ Adebawore is going to be that 5-star plus we thought he was and be that freak, or Mason Thomas is ready to show out with that ankle being healthy. Like you mentioned, Taylor Wine is one that's just like, okay, may have something there. Taylor Heim was another one at the linebacker spot that supposedly he's making a bunch of plays too. He's just, small. Got to get him bigger, right? He could be your next cheetah out there like Justin Harrington, in which Harrington is coming off his knee injury. He'll be back next season. Then, so with that, Ethan Downs has already proven himself. He was a freaking Big 12 was that honorable mention, or he was second team Big 12, I think, going into the season. Everybody was like, Ethan Downs, are you serious? Then he had last season, you're like, oh, and he had that game against Texas. You're like, oh, my bad, dog.
Oh, yeah.
My bad. Disrespecting your gangster. My fault, G. Don't stun on us like that. Right? Calm down, Jamal. Don't put down a 9. That's basically what we was getting out of this dude, right?
Yeah.
And so with Ethan Downs showing out, now we're ready to see what this defensive line can really do. Then you got the young pups right behind them, right? You got the Nigel Smiths. You've got the Daniel Okoye, which at 255 already running the 4.5 at his size, 6'4", 6'5". He's going to be a devastating monster, dog. I think he's going to finish in the 270 range in size, and he's just going to be a violent force. That's what I want to see what it looks like next year, right? That's what I want to see when it comes to the spring game. I want to see what those young edges look like against these quote-unquote little bit more veteran offensive linemen. If they go out there and show out, yeah, our feelings may be a little hurt and wondering about what the O-line is going to look like, but the best thing about that is we're probably going to see the best defensive line, best defense actually in totality that we're going to see this entire season. Like, I don't think anybody's defense is going to be as good as ours.
I don't
that we play against.
Do you? So I've always been under the opinion of when you leave a spring game, it's not the worst thing to not know necessarily everything. Does that make sense? Do you want to see the offense get up and down, or do you want the defense to go out there and just basically dominate the day?
I'm gonna keep it a buck.
Yeah,
I'm gonna keep it a buck. I kind of want the defense to dominate.
Okay.
And I say that because, again, if our offense is seeing this defense, this the best defense they see this season, all it's going to do is sharpen up a preparation for everybody else. Everything else will be easier.
Yeah.
Perfect example. I've mentioned this numerous times. Like I say, if you followed me, you've heard me say this before. When we played Tulsa last season, there was a nice little conversation, little article that came out, right? Kevin Wilson, Brent Venables, reminiscing on the old days, right? Kevin Wilson said something to me that just made me say, oh, this is exactly what's going to start happening here again. He was talking about how in practices, they had to physically pick the ball up and move it into certain parts of the field because Sam Bradford, Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, couldn't move the ball against Brent Venables. Sam Bradford couldn't.
Yeah.
Remember, that offense that Sam commanded at that time was the highest scoring offense in college football history at that time. They were setting records. They couldn't move it against BV.
Mm-hmm.
If we're getting that similar kind of taste now, oh boy. Inject that right now. I want more of it.
Yeah.
Give me more. I take that.
And that's what this defense is supposed to be. This defense is supposed to be, this is the third year, and you know how those third year strides make. So with that,
especially returning the production return. Remember, we're returning 78% of our defensive production.
Exactly.
Right? Number 8 in the country, number 1 in the SEC. So if you got a defensive coach and like he likes to focus on defense, and we're bringing back most of the production on defense.
Yeah.
Clemson 2.0.
And people. Hey, it's Boomer Sooner, baby. Hey, we got 7, they got 3, so keep it over there. But anyways,
just saying.
People, there are some rumbles out there. Don't hold me to it. There are some rumbles out there that we can actually run zone this year.
Ooh.
I've heard the rumbles, and I've said, wait a minute, by God, we may be messing with something.
Crazy man himself.
But with that being said, we got one more topic for you guys. Let's go ahead and put this first one on the screen. You talked about portal, so obviously we got 2 visitors coming. Let's talk about the first one, Jermaine Lowell, right? So biggest thing for me is that I see Louisville on there, and I haven't actually broke down the film. Maybe you have, but I see Louisville on his jersey, and I'm here to tell you folks, I love whatever they were doing last year because they had a really good season. Stout defense. It was what I call a lunch pail group. Wasn't anybody that you were just like, oh my goodness, oh my God, but lunch pail, came to work, knew what it was going to be. It was going to be a tough day for you. They would make it tough on you. And like I said, they just had the juice last year. They had a really good year. And I think they're looking forward to the second year. I mean, they made it to the ACC championship game. So, and rightfully deserved. But yeah, I mean, I see that name on that jersey, and I say, you know what, I like that coach and I like that program over there. He's a guy that we could use. Jay, what are your thoughts on this guy?
Look, when I saw him, like you said, Louisville, that defense was pretty stout and it was pretty solid. Like Jeff Brom he was cooking with he was cooking down there at Louisville. Shout out to him and what he was able to do there his first season after moving in from Purdue, basically bringing all his Purdue boys in. But so Lowell started his career at Arizona State. He's a California kid out of Paramount, California. Started at Arizona State and then went over to Louisville and kind of showed out last season. And now he's one of the more coveted guys. He's only got 1 year left. And the question is where he's going to go. Now, what's fascinating to me is I look at this schedule, right? He's at Oklahoma the 19th, Washington the 22nd, A&M the 24th, and SC the 26th. That's a lot of traveling for a little bitty, like, day visit, right? Except for with us, right? He comes here on the 19th. He's here Friday. He goes to the spring game, hangs out Saturday, probably flies out Sunday to Seattle. They're at Seattle for a day, flies out the next morning from Seattle, because it's an all-day travel, down to College Station. He's going to be flying into Houston. Spend the day down there at College Station, flying right back out the next day to California, then spend that day and a half at SC, which leads him back home area, but it's a lot of travel in a week span to do visits. And so for me, it smells fishy. I think he's going to be a good asset for us. He's like 310 pounds. Right now, we get him to 315. That gets him next to Dejoun Terry. You got yourself a beast. I sense that he would be a good piece to go with that zero technique, that nose guard that we need. I'm all in on us taking at least two big boys like that.
The goal is, and to me, I mean, and unfortunate, man, and praying for the kid, and he's in good health right now, but man, like that's just a big blow losing Lacey, because Lacey played really good last year. Yeah. There was nothing that you could say about Lacey in the time that he's worn an OU jersey. There's not too much that you can say. I mean, I thought that he had a really good season last year, and he really came on. And at times, he was he was a better version of the Kelly kid from Tulsa. So that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Dominique Williams from TCU. Guys we know, and if you don't know, then you should know. I mean, this has been a name for the last, 2 years, even though last year I think it was faint and nobody really believed it was going to happen. But, word on road was that this was a move that could have been that could have potentially happened. Him coming here and on such short notice, just entering the portal and all the rest of that stuff, I'm not going to say that anybody's been tampering or doing anything, but it does kind of smell fishy as well. So, Jay, what are your thoughts about this kid?
This is one guy that's been on a lot of people's radars for a bit. There's been rumors that he was looking around. He's a former 3-star out of California. Again, that has been on a lot of people's radars after what he did. As a freshman in 22, he was a all freshman squad for 247. He played pretty darn well. And then in 23, he was like an all Big 12 selection, right? Mm-hmm. And so since that's the case, he should have 2 years left. He was a part of the 21 class. He's another big boy, 6'2", 310, right? He's there at that number that you need to be in the middle, be disruptive, and he can move. Keep it a buck, man. If there's anyone I want him. I want him first. He's number one on the list, right? He's been proven. He's shown out enough. I need him first. He's done enough running around, especially playing in the Big 12. I need him going into the SEC. I need him to fill up those spaces. I need him to eat up doubles and triples so the linebackers and stuff can get through, or our edges can get out there, right? Or our 5Ts can get out there. I want him. There's a dude I want on this team. This is the guy I want.
And I think that's something that OU, and I'm not sure, does he have any other visits set up currently, or is
so far, no. So far, it looks like the only visit on his list is Oklahoma, and it came within the last couple hours, so it's pretty fast.
So we gotta knock it out of the park, guys. So hey, all fans there and everything and stuff like that, get crazy, get loud, show them the atmosphere, because I think we're gonna see another 50 to 60 plus thousand appearance by the OU fandom. So I mean that should be pretty cool. But this is a guy that you definitely want. And I think that one of the advantages that OU and for him and Lowell But I would also get at the Texas A&M as well. But in the SEC, like, hey, we know what you can do all around, but coming here and going to the SEC, you can really focus on your craft to really get yourself ready for the next level to put film out there. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then a kid like this, you sell him on the idea of, we know this year we're going to be good. I think OU is going to turn heads this year. All those 6-game, 7-game predictions and stuff like that, throw that out of the window. It's going to be way more than that. But I think you sell him on the idea as well. It's like, hey, look, we have longevity for you as well. If you can't get to the league this year, after this coming season, the next year, you definitely want to be on our ship because we knocking heads. We ain't going to be hunting nobody in the SEC. They're going to hunt us because we are going to be elite.
Yep, that defense is going to be dumb, man.
Yes.
So you add these two size guys? Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Elite defense.
Are these the only two transfer portal guys that we have on the list that are coming, or is there any more offensive line wise?
You got Philip Bleedy that's coming in from Indiana. He's a defensive tackle.
Oh, yeah.
He's like 295, 6'2", 295. Pretty experienced, 1 year left, grad transfer. He'll be in town. And then you have the SMU center and Branson Hickman coming also, in which we need a center. So he'll be in town as well.
And was he the starting center last year?
Yes. He was like the 8th highest graded center in college football per PFF. So
their line was pretty good. And I'm not talking about.
They had a solid line. They did.
They had a solid line. They had a pretty solid line. I like what Rhett Lashley has going on there. I think that they are going to be, I don't know if they'll win the ACC. I don't even know if they'll make the championship, but I think they're going to have like one of those weird Wake Forest, North Carolina type seasons where they go crazy on some teams. Or at the very least, I think they're going to mess things up for a lot of people as well. So
that makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I mean, hey, you gotta have those kids. If we could get, and you said this is the one you want, right? Dominic Williams. Out of Lowell and the other kid, who else would you want?
I'd prefer to go with I like Lowell as well as Dominic as the two to go after. Now, I mean, that doesn't mean Bleedy is, chopped liver. I'll take all three if we could do it, right? We can start shifting some stuff around if we need to do that. But especially as they're all, that's two dudes that are grads, and I think Dominic has 2 years left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, with that being said, guys, that's been another episode of the Horns Down Pod. My guy got to run real quick. Jay, go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you at.
Find me Unfair Sports. Search me on YouTube as well as whatever podcast I download and listen to. We go live on typically Wednesday nights and Sundays. Pull up. Chris usually joins us whenever he ain't playing wrestling or UFC on the PlayStation.
You already know. Are we friends on Xbox?
No, I see it though on Discord. So that's
God, yeah, I'll be on there, boy.
He's the owner. That's how he kills his time. That's how he works his lawyer days.
Hey man, hey. But yeah, with that being said, guys, like, subscribe, do all those things with the channel. We're still growing, but you guys are showing so much love. So I appreciate you guys for the best, for putting up with me, listening to me, and all the rest of that stuff. One last thing I gotta say: Texas sucks.
There's a lot of great